All right, guys, welcome to the video. Now, you're probably wondering why we're sitting here on Google, what that has to do with getting out of your timeshare, and actually nothing. However, what a lot of people do is they will come to Google and they'll enter something along the lines of sell my timeshare. And bear with me here, we're recording this on an iPad screen capture. So if for some reason the screen is blurry or the audio is blurry, just bear with it. If you're viewing it on YouTube, it might actually be a tad bit blurrier than if you're viewing it on your actual iPhone or your iPad. But in any event, the information will be the same, and hopefully here we'll explain to you some valuable information about how to get out of your timeshare. So what people do is they're going to try to sell their timeshare. So they'll come to Google and they'll type in sell my timeshare. And you'll go through, and we won't spend any time on any of these websites, but you'll see all the ads at the top, and there's a lot of information going down the page, and I'm sure you've seen all this, and you might have even visited some of these websites that provide information on how to sell your timeshare, okay? Again, you do it for various reasons. You're looking for ways to recoup that initial investment, and it's just logical. But what you're not going to see, okay, is probably the number one most valuable piece of pertinent information on actually getting out of your timeshare and specifically selling. And that is, you're not going to see a website called eBay, which I'm sure you know of. You know of eBay. So let's go over here to eBay. So we're at ebay.com. And the reason I'm here will make sense real quickly, actually. So eBay, according to stats, is the number one place to go to list your timeshare. And it's a free service. You can list your timeshare for free on eBay. And if you come here, you're going to see something pretty interesting, actually. Okay? You're going to see, and I'll just type in timeshares for sale. Now, while it's loading, I'll just say, we're not going to take time to scroll through all of these because literally there are thousands upon thousands of listings on eBay of timeshares for sale. And they update daily, okay? Actually, they update hourly. Again, we're talking about thousands upon thousands of units that various people and even companies can list for free. And we'll scroll on the bottom, you can see. And a lot of these are very, very nice properties. And that matters for the simple fact of you have a lot of competition if you're trying to sell your timeshare. Specifically speaking, stats show, and again, stats do change, but in my experience, and at free from vacationfees.com, we have quite a bit of experience in the industry. Less than 1% of timeshares actually resell. Okay, that's less than 1 out of every 100. And again, in my experience, it is actually far worse than that for sellers. Okay, just because more and more and more timeshares are listed every year. And so if you're trying to sell your timeshare, what that means is it is virtually impossible. Now, what I want to do is scroll down here and show you something pretty interesting. So I'll scroll down to the bottom, and this is just the first page. Again, and I'm going to scroll fast. Again, you can replay this video a few times to get all the information, but I'm going to scroll fast. You can see that when we get down to the bottom, you have many tabs. So we'll go over to the 10th place, the 10th page, okay? And I won't go through every page, but there are dozens and hundreds of these pages of timeshare listings. Again, there are thousands upon thousands of timeshares listed for sale on eBay, which is the number one timeshare listing site. People come here to list their timeshare. They're trying to recoup their initial investment and make up some of those maintenance fees. And they can do it here for free. Now, you can see some of these timeshares are expensive. People are trying to give them away. But just note this, if you're seeing them here, they are available and they have not been sold. And that goes for the vast majority of these. And what you're also going to see is people trying to literally give their timeshares away for next to nothing. There's a 99-cent initial bid. That means all you got to do is bid 99 cents to at least have your bid considered. Here's one for a penny. There's a penny. There's one for $1. And I'm not going to go through everyone. So literally, people are trying to give away their timeshares. at least many people, a good percentage, and you have other people trying to recoup. Um, there's one for 10,000, there's one for 6,000, and again, these are extremely nice properties. Let's just click over to this one, this Weston one here, and you can see. And then I'm going to explain to you something incredibly important if you're looking to sell or if you're trying to get out of your timeshare. As you can see, this is an extremely nice property, and chances are that you have an extremely nice timeshare. Okay, but here's the key bit of information, and I'll scroll back off here in 1 second. So here is this key bit of information. The key bit of information is timeshare ownership is really nothing but open air. Yes, you are going to an amazing destination. Chances are you're by the ocean, or maybe you have a timeshare in a ski resort. A beautiful, picturesque place. But the problem is that what you are actually selling is not that place. Okay, what you are selling, I like to refer to it as a slot of open air. Nobody's ever going to convince me differently. All you really have is a slot of open air that forces you to take a vacation to that place every single year for an average maintenance fee of somewhere around $1,000, and I believe they're between $800 and $1,200 right now, and that changes. And you might be paying more, maybe you're paying a little bit less, but you are locked in to that place to go on vacation at a certain time, which tends to be a pain in the ass. I mean, let's face it. You don't always want to go on vacation. You can't always afford it, but yet you're stuck with that fee. And I'm going to show you why that actually really matters nowadays. It matters because of this thing we call the internet. Okay, so in this day and age, you can go to websites, and let's go over to a website here. Follow along. Let's go over to Expedia, which is just a travel website, and it's one of many where you can go and you can book extremely nice and fairly cheap, depending on where you go, vacations. And again, there's dozens of these sites. You've probably been to many of them. You can go to a website called kayak.com, expedia.com, any number of websites. Travelocity, there's a lot of them where you can go and you can book extremely cheap vacations with flights, for probably about what you're paying now, or in many cases, far, far less than what you're actually having to pay now by the time you add up your maintenance fee bill of $800 to $1,200 a year. Some of them are even much higher than that, plus the special assessments, plus then you're having to pay for your flights and your car, your rent-a-car, and everything else, okay? So, this is the point. I can book destination trips without having a membership in a timeshare for very cheap. It means I don't need these. Again, all you own with a timeshare is a slot of open air. And so if people are not wanting to, which is why it's so difficult to sell, not only are you having to deal with thousands of owners trying to get out of their timeshare via selling and even trying to give their timeshare away, which they can't even do. But you're also dealing with the fact that nobody who's basically a lot of people who do not own timeshare, and in my experience, the vast majority do not want to own one because of the maintenance fees. They will come and they will book their trips on these sites like Expedia. Okay, so you can't get out because people do not want to take over your open air slot for $800 to $1,200 a year or more, and be forced to take a vacation in that place. I mean, let's face it, it's not something you want to even pass along to your kids or any relatives, because really it's one giant burden. Nobody wants the fees. And so this is what you're not going to see when you come to Google and you type in sell my timeshare. You're not going to see information like that. And maybe in the past you've even paid to list your timeshare for sale. And that will be a mistake because, again, less than 1% of timeshares actually resell. So let me flip out of the internet here and let's go over to my notes. And that is the picture of me. You can see it right there up in the left-hand corner. Okay, again, my name's Jason from timesharefees.com, or excuse me, That's actually the old URL. It's freefromvacationfees.com. So come up here and let me open up this real quick, and this might take 1 second, but I want to go over to my notes here. Okay, and so I'm going to do a little comparison. So the issue with trying to sell a timeshare, okay, is that there are literally thousands of beautiful timeshares for sale. The other issue is, as a result of that, less than 1% resell. And again, let me correct that. Less than 1% resell. And again, if the audio is a little bit shaky, bear with me. Again, this is a screen capture video on my iPad. Sometimes it does that. But less than 1% resell. Now, the benefit is if you are able to sell your timeshare, you can potentially recoup some of that initial investment. And I don't know what you have invested in your timeshare. Again, back in the 80s, it was a good idea for timeshare, so people were willing to pay $5,000, $10,000. We know people that have over $20,000 invested in their timeshare, and some over 50. People were willing to pay to take these vacations. I'm not sure how much you owe or how long you've owned it, or what your initial investment was. But if you try to sell, yes, you can potentially recoup some of that investment. But that is also where people get themselves into trouble, and it's the number one piece of information that listing companies and other people who are in the industry that like to scam people, this is what they use against them. They promise them that they can recoup some of that investment. But like we already said, less than 1% of timeshares resell. So if you pay a listing company, there are no guarantees that you will get out again. And then you're going to be stuck with a listing fee. And they can run anywhere up to, the average is probably somewhere around $1,500 just to list it and have somebody try to market it for you. But again, odds are they will not sell. So you may be asking yourself, well, okay, so if you can't sell your timeshare, what is another option? And there's something called a timeshare transfer. And all that does is transfer your ownership. Okay? That's transferring you away from your ownership. Now, okay, the benefits of this is that you get out. Now, there are a lot of companies doing this, and actually you want to use a very reputable company, okay? But a reputable company, and again, this is what we do here at freefromvacationfees.com, a reputable company will guarantee the service or your money back. And that's what we do here. We guarantee you will get out of your timeshare or your money back. Now, you might be saying to yourself, okay, well, what's it cost? And here's the thing. You will not make any money doing this. This is not selling. Again, you're not going to be able to sell it, odds are, but typically people will promise you that you're going to make this money if you do sell it. We don't make any such promises. You will make no money with a timeshare transfer. Okay? In fact, there is an upfront fee. Now, here's the thing though. A lot of people get themselves into trouble because they don't want to pay an upfront fee to get out of their timeshare. And that is for good reason. There's a lot of scams out there. But if you have a reputable timeshare transfer company and you pay that upfront fee, it almost always winds up being much
much cheaper, okay, than trying to sell. The reason is that number one, you get out. That means you're not going to be stuck with the next 5 years of average maintenance fees. Let's say the average maintenance fee is $1,000. Well, 5 years, you will have another, okay, $5,000 invested in your timeshare. Well, you might be saying, well, what if I list and sell? What if you list your timeshare, and some people will list their timeshare and they'll pay, $1,000 to list the timeshare, or they'll do it in a free place. So let's say you list it for free on eBay, and you have it there, and a lot of people have been trying to sell their timeshares for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, well, you're going to rack up that same $5,000. If it takes you 5 years to sell, let's say it takes you 2 years. Let's say you can't sell it in 5 years. Well, you're going to rack that up, okay? Plus now, you're going to have to pay, if you decide to go transfer, you're going to have to pay to transfer. So let me just put the plus sign in here real quick. You have to pay to transfer fee out of it, okay? So the long story short is you're going to end up having much more money invested, and this is typically what happens. Again, don't take our word for it. Do your own research. But this is typically what happens, because less than 1% of timeshares resell, is that owners try to sell them, and they spend a couple years trying to sell them, and they end up paying 2 more years in maintenance fees, and then they end up trying to do a transfer or something else that costs them more money, versus if they just pay a one-time fee right now and get out. And again, that ends all fees. Okay? So, again, this is what we do. Again, we are not lawyers. We do not provide legal advice. This is just simply what our company specializes in. And if you want more information on this, if you're watching this on our website, you can simply fill out the form directly below this video. Or if you're watching it on YouTube or any other place, you can visit freefromvacationfees.com. Okay, freefromvacationfees.com, and you will see more information there on our solution as well as our contact form. Okay, again, all calls to us are 100% free. Let's put it this way. We cannot help everybody. There are certain instances, although we do assist in most cases, regardless of what timeshare company you own with, or whether you still owe money or not, we can still assist you in getting out of your timeshare. And all calls are 100% free. But if we cannot, let's put it this way. We're great listeners. There's no obligation to our service. We're really easy to talk with. And so feel free to give us a call just to bounce some ideas off of us. Should you try to use our service, as I mentioned above, it almost always ends up being much, much cheaper than what you are currently paying in maintenance fees. Okay? So if you found this video useful, and you're watching on YouTube, you can click the like button below. We'd really appreciate that. That'll help us rank higher so more people can see the video. Or you can visit our website once again and fill out the contact form. You'll see it right there on the website. And we wish you the best of luck in getting out of your timeshare.